straight down the barrel.
Yeah, you got it.
Sorry, what's your name again?
Matt.
Matt.
Yeah.
So then if I need to say, Matt, Rob, get out of the way. Oh my god, don't do that face.
Just turn up a couple of bits.
Turn up, yeah.
Okay, shall we say what we, for sound, we can say what we had for breakfast.
Yeah,
so,
perfect. Just
for
reel
breakfast
off.
had a bowl of anxiety and felt like my face was going to explode when I realised we had an hour less than was previously anticipated. That's always a good way to start. Yeah, I'll read on my toes. What's lives gets you questions? How are we going to get questions through?
It's going to feature rear. Time more than go, because we like.
Yeah.
Okay, hello and welcome to Pause Fest 2021 live launch. I'm Sam Bompas and you're here at what we call the Temple Tongue Art Studio. It's one of the great things about the pandemic and things, rather than going live, be able to invite people inside and you're going to come inside for I think the most explosive thing we've done yet. I'm incredibly nervous, and as we should, because over the next half hour, we're going to be taking you into the studio. We're going to be setting off a load of, we're going to try a lot of difficult and dangerous experiments that you might be able to try at home with whatever's left in your store cupboard. Yeah, we're going to try and make sure we've got all of our fingers at the end of it as well. So it should be very jolly. Now, you might have heard about shows ending with a bang. We like to start with a bang. So to start off with, we've made improvised IEDs using mobile phone chargers, taking the mobile phone charger and wiring it into a micro det in this jelly. So you've got some old, spent, unused mobile phone chargers. They're going into the jellies. This is why I've got this on, and the camera team behind the camera too as well. And we're just going to set them off, just to start with a bang. So I'm going to start the countdown and plug them into power. And it'll probably be very, very unpopular with my business partner when he, I see Matt and Rob are backing away a little bit, so you should. Okay, so we're going to count down from 3 that will welcome you inside. Okay, 3, 2, 1. Golly. Come inside to Temple of Tongue, visit us at Bompas Parr. Let's get going. Okay. So I take this off, as it's clear from jelly, and tell you a bit about Bompas Parr, what we're here, what we're doing. And I think with these experiments, some of them will work, some of them won't work. That's creativity, that's what it's like. We're here at Bompas Parr and we specialise in food experiences and enchanting what you put in your mouth. So previous projects have been things like this. So this is a whiskey organ, and as it plays, it changes your perception of taste. So it directs your palate around the glass. I think there's a skull chalice there. And around us we've got all sorts of things. But we're well known for doing things like alcoholic architecture, which is a breathable cloud of cocktails that if you step inside, it intoxicates through your lungs and your eyeballs. There is a kid-friendly version as well, which is obviously fruity, and you can contribute to your 5-day just through breathing. So you can get your kids having some of those vitamins just through going through the cloud. But I think one of the things that we really focus on with our approach is how can you enchant any single given piece of food and drink. And I always think that if you take any piece of food and drink, if you research it enough, if you speak to the right people, you can find something that's really unique, really different, really enchanting. And by way of example for that, I've got gherkins. So these humble pickles, we discovered that there might be a modest gherkin. If you put power through them, they can turn into what is basically a really crap light bulb. So if you put, well, I think a small gherkin, it's one of these little fellows, will draw about, never opened a tin before. One of these small gherkins will draw about 300 watts of power, and one of these larger gherkins will draw about 500 watts of power. And when we discovered this, we said, well, what's the biggest thing we can do? Let's make a gherkin chandelier. And so we called up an electrician. The electrician said, I'm intrigued, but what you're about to do is incredibly dangerous. So I'll help you with your gherkin chandelier, but you can never put my name on it, never say I did anything. So we wired up 64 gherkins all together to make a giant gherkin chandelier, and that draws as much power as to power either an entire city block or 2 electric chairs. I don't have that wired up today, but I've got a mini one here. Behold. The gherkinator. And again, what we're going to do is we're going to put some gherkins here and see if we can turn them into small light bulbs. And yeah, I'll just run some power through them. I should say as well, all of this is live, so if you've got questions, fire them through, and we'll see if you can answer some of them as we go along. And you can find quite a lot of this on our website, Bompas Parr, in terms of the details, in terms of seeing how it turns out. Right, the gherkins are ready. I think if we actually turn the lights down a little bit in the room, we'll be able to see them even better. And this is our salute to how even a modest gherkin can be a really remarkable, if slightly rubbish, light bulb. Here we go. So we plug it in, see if we can get this light up. Got it! So pleased. Okay, right. Onwards, in through the studio, on to the next station as well. So you can see we've got research kitchens here, we do a lot of baking. There's a lot of water boiling up for a grand finale, a pumping finish. And into the full main studio. Around the place are various props and detritus left over from great installations. These sort of coral chandelier things, they're from when we created an adult grotto in Westfield. And they wanted something that would enchant the space, would appeal to a female skewing audience over Christmas, a female audience that was too cool to ever go to Westfield. And in that, our answer was mermen mixologists. So we cast a whole crew of mermen mixologists and they'd swim in a tank making delicious cocktails for you. We're going to settle down over here and look at what happens when you aerate powders and add some fire to them to see if we can get some explosions. We've got a good ceiling height in here, so it should really help. And I should also say that this whole thing is this whole launch is in aid of Pause Fest, which has now moved online and is in March. And if you think this is wild, mad, or just plain strange, there's some really very inspirational conversations going to happen. So I've heard, and these are some that I really want to go to, it's going to be talks on how NASA plans to land humans on the moon, when the Hyperloop vacuumless train will be available for travel, how to empower kids to tackle the ethical questions of AI, also how to thrive in chaos, which hopefully we're doing okay here on that. But early bird tickets are now on sale as well on pausefest.com.au. Right, so what I've got here is I've got 3 different powders. They're normal powders you can find in the kitchen. Got some milk powder, got some potato starch, and a sort of ground up mushroom lycopodium powder as well. It's a bit hard to find, not too hard to get hold of online. And of course, all safety precautions are taken, so we can don goggles. And just going to see what happens when we aerate them. What I've tried to do is find powders that are quite light. We'll do a couple. So this guy's a whole milk powder, and I'm going to blurt out of the funnel and see if I can get it to ignite explosively. Ed, I hope you're okay. Sorry. So that's pretty good. Pretty impressive. Pretty impressed with our whole milk powder. Let's see how we do with the potato starch. It's not as fine, but try and crush it up a little bit. I've never done it with the potato starch before, so this could be the best or the very worst. Let's see. I mean, no one's impressed with potato starch. It's disgraced itself. I'm embarrassed with the potato starch. Now I'll come on to the lycopodium powder, and before we do that, I think I should talk about is there a reason for experimenting with fireworks in the kitchen? I think the answer to that is there's every reason to do it. It's been said that, so I've done a lot of work on fireworks over the years. We actually did a New Year's Eve fireworks show for London, and so we had a live audience of 250,000 people, and when we set off the fireworks for this huge audience, we set it all to flavour as well. So as you saw the fireworks explode in the sky, you'd see like a strawberry, you'd see red fireworks explode in the sky, and you'd taste strawberry. It then moved on to things like edible banana confetti, peach snow, and Seville orange bubbles. And in the process of doing that, we were in contact with a leading professor of sciences, and basically he's a professor of sciences and a historian of sciences, but what he really loves is fireworks, a chap called Professor Simon Werrett. And his theory was that basically all of human sciences came about because potentates, rulers, states wanted explosives for two things. One, to wage war; two, to put on vast state shows and create these huge spectacles. So that's why, certainly in Russia, there was so much investment in sciences. The scientists themselves said, okay, we'll do all your pyrotechnics, they sound great, but there are also some other things we're interested in as well. So, yeah, even sort of base impetuses like that can be the reason for greatness. So anyway, so I've got a lycopodium powder. It's like a ground up mushroom powder. Put a good whack in here. As you can see, it's really fine. It's pretty amazing stuff. Actually, if you put your hand in, coat your hand in this and then plunge it into water, your hand will remain dry because it's so hydrophobic. Right, okay, so I'm going to blow into this. Get some fire going. Let's see what happens. Okay. Got it. Right, okay, so that definitely worked. Now we're going to go into the workshop, and so one of the things that we do in terms of setting up the kitchen, the studio, is making sure that we've got space to do clean work and investigations into food and drink, and then also space to do dirty work. And this is in the workshop. We can get filthy, get all the kit out, try and make something new. That behind you is a infrasonic speaker. So infrasound is sound that's lower than humans can hear. And what it actually does is it broadcasts sound at 19.8 hertz, which is the frequency at which your eyeballs vibrate. And it means that it can shake your eyeballs. So there's been a theory that this might be why people see ghosts. So you see ghosts in spaces where there's a lot of infrasound. We tried it out. and it certainly makes you feel very, very uncomfortable. Okay, let's see how I'm doing time. Right, so we've got a couple different experiments here. Rian, who's going to be helping us out with the final explosion, has invented, just for this show, this device. And this is a coat hanger plugged in with a drill and then some wire wool. The idea being that you're gonna set it going, and it'll start going like that, and you set it on fire. I suspect this might not be one of the most successful projects we do today, but also perhaps one of the most dangerous as well. So I'm just going to cast around and make sure we've got some fire extinguishers about the place. This goes wrong. Yeah, we've got one here. Okay, so this is ready for action if anything happens untoward. Hope you guys behind the camera are feeling okay as well. Brave so far. Okay, let's give it a go. I'm not totally convinced about this, but you know, here's to creative chaos. Wow! Okay. Let's just have a quick look around and make sure nothing's burning. That was very, very intense. I need a break about this, but we must go onward. Golly, wasn't expecting that. So the next thing we're going to do is look at what happens when you put gummy bears with potassium chlorate. And so here we've got some potassium chlorate. Potassium chlorate, when you heat it, it produces lots and lots of oxygen. And it means that when something's burning, so something like sugar can burn very well, but it needs a lot of oxygen, it will burn particularly well. So let's get going on our potassium chlorate. And I'm just going to make a little spill to get it in. What you have to do is you have to melt down the potassium chlorate as well. That's quite a good lot there. Okay. So, yeah, so we're going to melt this guy down, and we're going to get our gummy bears ready. A nice monster pack of gummy bears. I mean, it just smells totally saccharine sweet. I'm almost overwhelmed just opening it. And here the gummy bears, quite sweetly, they're holding hands here. But we'll have to separate them to be able to get them into the test tubes. But they'll both have the same incandescent destiny. Right, so let's get them melting. Nicely. May have put a little bit too much in this test tube. Okay, so this guy's ready to go. Still going. And it kind of almost smells like cotton candy in here as well, with a slightly unnerving chemical ting. And we know we're doing something right as well, because we set the fire alarms off. Okay, let's try this guy now. Whoa! That's a really good one. Oh my god. And there's just something utterly delightful about just doing things with things that you find in your kitchen. So, now we're going, if you thought, that actually smells delicious, but I probably shouldn't breathe too much of it. Whew. Okay, so we're moving on now, and we're coming up for a grand finale, a grand final explosion. I wonder if at this point we could take some questions. Are there any questions?
Everyone's just thinking they should use this for Halloween tricks, but Halloween's past.
Oh, Halloween's past. It would have been great for Halloween, which is obviously one of our favourite times of year as well. In fact, the speaker that you were seeing was originally created for Halloween so that you could have a supernatural experience. And can confirm, we didn't get people seeing ghosts, but it's the only time when all of the event team that were there saying, "It's really good, the experiment really worked, but I feel really sick, so I can't come in tomorrow," because of the infrasound pulsing through the body. So we had to make sure that everyone was rotated in effectively. Are there any more questions as well? Not yet.
Not yet.
I'll tell you what we do, because I just find that when we're doing these sorts of things, if we don't get some great questions, I love the questions. And what I tend to find is really good is if we do a mega prize for the best question. So if there's some really good questions, we'll do a mega prize. It might take a little bit of time to come, because you've got to get it all the way to Australia. But it will. So you can have something to look forward to. It's always good to have something to look forward to.
I wonder how many times you've practiced and done these experiments before.
Well, it's a mixed bag. The thing that we did with the drill, the wire wall, and the coat hanger was the first time I'd ever done that. And I feel like that might have come across in my reaction, that I almost screamed when I was doing that. Some of the others, a few more times, so it's a variety, but I always like to do something for the first time with a live audience, because you never know what's going to happen. It adds a little sort of frisson of danger, which has a magic all of its own.
And do you have any recommendations for fireworks?
Well, in terms of recommendations for fireworks, the bigger is always the better. I mean, obviously here it's the 5th of November, it's fireworks night. We're going into lockdown, but the best thing that's happening is you're able to sit and you're able to set up some fireworks. So one of my great joys actually is setting off fireworks in the daytime. So my Saturday morning ritual is normally to go and set off a few fireworks in the park. Not too early though, because I do like my neighbours. I do like being invited to dinner with them. That probably wouldn't happen too much if I did it too early. Any more?
That's it.
All right. Well, let's get on into what I would say is the grandest of grand finales. My business partner Harry is going to be incensed that we're doing it indoors. He knows nothing about this, but it's very early here, so we're able to get away with it. I can introduce you to Mr. Rian as well.
Hello. Good morning.
And this really is quite dangerous. So you'll see that we are taking all precautions. Actually, I'll pass this to the cameraman.
Thank you.
There you are, Matt. And so we're all putting on gloves and then also goggles. Gloves and goggles, that's it. And what we're going to do is we're going to combine liquid nitrogen, an enormous amount of it, it's about minus 190 degrees Celsius, with boiling water. And then there's going to be an enormous cloud erupt, and there'll be water everywhere. And if we're doing this with everyone live, with the audience, with you as an audience here, we could also flavour it as well. So that's quite fun.
Here's some with why not?
Oh, we've got some. What's the flavour?
Strawberry.
Strawberry. Oh, my favourite. Great. Okay, Mr. Rian, let's get our Nitro going. So here we go.
A little more?
Let's keep,
A little more.
yeah. This is really quite a lot now.
In for a penny. Go large.
Okay. It's got our nitrogen. And got our boiling water. And before we do that though, I think this is a good time as well, just to say. Oh, actually, I found on my end card there was a note from the production team that says, "Hope you're safe. Don't try this at home." So it's a really good time to get that in. And also to catch us, so Bompas Parr are going to be at Paws Fest online from the 1st to 12th of March 2021. There's going to be a lot of more extraordinary humans. And for more information, you can go to pawsfest.com.au. And right, let's get going. Okay, Mr. Rian, are you ready for this?
Ready.
Okay, we'll count down from 3, and we'll make a mega explosion. 3, 2, 1, go!
That's a clap.
That's great. Oh, computer's all alright, camera's all alright, everyone's safe.
Strawberry everywhere.
Strawberry everywhere. Well, thank you everyone for watching Paws Fest. Thank you for joining us at Bompas Parr's Temple of the Tongue. It's been, well, I wish all mornings were like this, quite frankly. It's been a lot of fun to do. Signing out, unless there's anything else we should be covering off.
Oh, wow! Well done!
Well done, everyone! Everything works! Go! Half an hour on the nose.
Yeah, nice. That was bigger than I expected.
That was a lot.
It's just engulfed.
Yeah.
Oh, super.
Well done,
my
buddy. You did
God.
great. That was awesome.
Yeah, great work.